Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is from a brand new author by the name of Robert Maddox, exclusive to the DMTForestOfFEAR channel. And as ever, please do let us know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help build the channel and our community further. And why not hashtag TeamFEAR and DMT's Cryptid crew. And so, with that aside, let's get into tonight's story, entitled Black Site. Let's get straight into that. I am an operator, a private contractor for a corporate entity that conducts research and addresses threats to national, planetary security and solar extraplanetary exploration. Each of us was chosen for a particular gift, so don't get any ideas of finding out who we are and attempting to enlist or apply for a job. It won't work out. We are apolitical. You are of no use to the organization if you're going to muddy operations with your personal political and social beliefs. And the regular military is unwelcome here, as too many security risks come daily from the rank and file of any country's military and their associated fellowships with friends and families who bring their own set of problems to the mix. Don't get me wrong, we are as human as you are, but we are just a slight shift in the spectrum of the human anthropological experience and the social animals that humans are. Want a name? I'm sorry, there is no name. Uniform? Sorry again, there is no uniform outside of the standard combat uniform specific to the environment that we are sent to operate in. There will never be a congressional hearing on our budget, operations, or any accountability because we operate on the fringe and do things ordinary people cannot accomplish, psychologically or physically. We are the personification and deniability, not the tip of the sword because you will see that coming, but the tip of a stiletto, just the right size and lethal enough to do the job but stay concealed before, during, and after its successful employment in service. Currently, we're operating on the foreign soil of 3 different significant powers, including our own. We're not interested in you. There are more significant powers at play outside of what can be compared to monkeys standing on 2 legs with their chest pushed out and declaring themselves Lord of the Jungle, while lions, tigers and bears roam below on the jungle floor. We are also operating on 1 other planet and several alien moons within our solar system that, with the help of technology, are capable of hosting human life. Those moons are being used for any number of research purposes and future mining potential for minerals, both known or unknown to the general or scholastic populace that keeps our finances free of any connection to the terrestrial government. Now, all of this would be rainbows and unicorn farts if it were not for the reality that we are not alone. Others inhabit the universe intelligent, similar and dissimilar ranging from those with a hive mind acting as a single entity, to those who operate within an alien society based on any number of conceivable social conventions, both imaginable and unimaginable, allowing for the constraints of their particular evolutionary biology and how it shaped their psychological framework. And we are at war with a few of them in contention over local solar real estate. So, I hear the question forming in your minds. If we are operating on an alien world and multiple system moons, how are we getting there? And aside from NASA, never a straight answer, and Elon Musk's expensive rocket toys that go boom, we haven't been able to set foot on an extraterrestrial body since the Apollo missions. The easy answer will be classified advancements in technology. The truth will be through the acquirement and reverse engineering of technology from recovered crashed alien vehicles and refugees from worlds that look enough like us to pass on the streets and public venues as one of us looking for refuge from any number of conditions on their home planets or systems that they were forced to flee from. It turns out life, it's a bitch wherever you go in the universe. There is always someone looking for relief from a bad situation or a better life than the one they are living at the time at home, willing to bargain by offering technology for the chance to settle down somewhere significantly less turbulent than where they came from. At the base of Europa is staffed by a cadre of 150 scientists and technicians maintained by a small group of support and security staff, composed of medium and light weapons infantry types, who patrol the perimeter and the passageways of the installation, as well as performing escort duty to expeditions onto the surface of the moon. It took 2.5 years for the satellite carrying the beacon for the transporter, or Einstein-Rosen Bridge Gateway, to reach Europa, shaving 2.5 years off the normal transit time of a regular satellite. Using a destructive technology, it was discarded off into the outer solar system when its mission was completed. And with the establishment of a stable gateway, it was 1.5 years before the infrastructure of the facility was completed, with an additional 6 months before the facility was completely staffed and operational. Now, if life teaches you anything as a soldier, it teaches you that life is uncertain and could be cut short at any time without warning, especially if you carry a gun in the employment of an organization and superiors who utilize you as a solution to an undiplomatic, difficult situation. And depending on the nature of the beast's death or injury, comes without warning in the form of an ambush or is face down across a field of fire by an enemy employing any level of technology. And it shouldn't come as a surprise to the learned, but just because you are spacefaring doesn't mean you have superior weapon technology. I do love Star Trek for that sentiment. Think Packlets. No? Well, never mind. In any case, as it stands, one of the solar systematic points of contention is a quiet event on one of the moons of Jupiter. That moon is Europa, to be specific. I call it quiet because the opposition is silent, evasive, and unseen except for a single incident. What is so important about Europa? Europa is important. It has twice as much water as all the Earth's oceans combined. Consumable water is power, especially to corporations that foresee a profit to be made for a commodity that is of the utmost importance to human life that could become scarce in the future. Well, there wasn't supposed to be life on Europa. They were confident about that. However, life has a way of making fools out of those who are confident. There is life there, water-based like us, intelligent, and quite possibly hostile to our presence. However, where there is a possibility of profit, corporate management always entertain the spectre of war, if not the actual practice. It is unknown if they are native to Europa or not. However, they are adapted to the environment and operate with few noticeable restrictions. Not that we will be aware of any restrictions, since we know little to nothing of their biology or technology, if they have one. For the moment they operate like ambush predators, without the ambush using the ice to hide, and observe, and then disappearing at will. The superstitious would call them ghosts, but ghosts do not react to bullets, and ghosts cannot damage man or physical property, to my knowledge. What we do know is they are varied in size and form, loosely humanoid but only vaguely like man, as we assign anthropological traits to other creatures, vaguely like us. We have no idea how they nourish their bodies, or what drives their minds. The first contact with the shadow occurred during an exploratory expedition, where scientists were examining the thick depth of the ice in various locations to search for easy access to the suspected large bodies of liquid water below the ice sheet and any sign of micro or macro biological life. It was a quick, fleeting but large enough noticeable shadow that was there 1 minute and gone the next. Perceptible only because the research team was alert enough to register an anomaly that appeared to blip long enough for awareness to be possible. A protocol dictates a freeze on external operations and drawback to safety when off-world, while sensors are set in place during the retreat and activated to remotely access the first few minutes of the first contact situation, where contact is noticed but no attempt to reach out is initiated on the part of the alien species. It is better to be safe than sorry in a first contact situation, especially when definitive medical care is millions of miles away, regardless of the transporter technology. Now we followed protocol and established a heightened level of security around the base, and sitting on a rock shelf we were confident that we would be protected from below, but it was still the perimeter that we had to worry about. The first contact team was assembled and a new protocol was debated as to how to go about diplomatically opening a line of communication between our species, if it were possible. We had no spaceship in high or low orbit to retreat to, and case of a violent confrontation, which is the only drawback to using the Einstein-Rosen bridge gateway, which is offset by the ability to simply withdraw through the gate in the event of an emergency. But water is power and money, and so the immense amounts of water available on Europa is too tempting for corporate greed and common sense to prevail. And since flying a helicopter drone on Mars was a success, we were equipped with a few. However, there were no infrared sensors installed capable of searching for endothermic life as we know it, provided the life we had just bumped into was endothermic from the beginning. But we could gather satellite images from the safety of our compound and from a good distance above the surface of the moon without taking too much of a risk to ourselves. And the sensors that had been left behind to monitor our retreat showed no movement, heat trace, or sounds whatsoever. It was as if the remote team had been spooked by shadows like children in the night, running from the shades cast by a bad dream to the parents' bedroom for protection from the boogeyman showing up in their dreams. The video feed showed nothing but ice as far as the camera could see, and monitors displayed nothing but ice, the sound of wind, and the light reflected from Jupiter as Europa rotated around the planet in its orbit. The command considered sending non-essential personnel back through the gate to Earth or Mars, but corporate denied the request and dictated that we submit data on the contact and await their analysis of the incident. And so, we continued operations, although with increased apprehension as we went about our duties. And days stretched into weeks, and weeks into months, and while I might be tempted to say that we had the feeling of being watched, there was nothing to add to the anxiety that we felt at meeting the unknown, and then having that unknown disappear without a trace. And gradually, the mood of the base personnel returned to normal. If we had had an encounter, perhaps what was seen was simply an animal. Unknown to us, yeah. Just an animal bearing no threat or level of intelligence that should carry any concern to our safety outside of predation. You could almost say that a relaxed atmosphere after the excitement of contact made people a little sloppy in their attitude towards safety in the environment. But you would have been wrong, except for a handful of personnel who had never been in a dangerous situation before in their lives. The rest of the cadre had served the hostile theatres of operation, and so while their initial angst about meeting the boogeyman of Europa was greatly diminished, their sense of situation analysis remained alert for the unexpected as they went about their duties. Whether because the planetoid was just large enough, or the population density of our two peoples was small enough, there was no further contact for a great while, at least not purposefully. There was no evidence that we were under observation. If a planetary body is large enough, it is possible to go about your business without ever being aware of anyone else, especially if your needs are different enough so that there is never a need for the two of you to collide when searching for necessary resources. But I am not sure if that is the case in this situation. Nothing was obvious at first. There wasn't even a feeling of anything wrong as we went about our operational routine, exploring the surface and icy subsurface of the moon. But then objects began to disappear, attributed at first to the suspected forgetful nature of the persons involved, later to the spectre of corporate sabotage in the interest of a rival corporation or government. But then a shadow became a physical presence, and disaster struck in the form of a technician who had no prior experience but carried a gun, a more unhealthy fear of the unknown that caused a fatal discharge in the direction of the unexpected arrival of an alien. Now, we will never know the purpose of the unexpected arrival of that being that showed itself to the technician or the conditions surrounding their revelation. With this unfortunate mishap, operations immediately ground to a halt and all research teams were withdrawn to base. This time, things were different, and the boogeyman was given a substance and was laying on the ground with a fatal bullet wound in its body caused by a member of our cadre. And a corporate representative assigned to our facility decided to recover the body for study almost immediately, with the corporate office agreeing with and sanctioning the decision. This caused a moralistic argument to erupt as to the nature of the right of possession of the recovered body and what it might entail for the survivability and the safety of station personnel. The debate then branched out in earnest as the question of the intelligence of this new species was thrown back and forth with two groups emerging. One side of the argument insisted that the situation be treated as a first contact with an intelligent species. The other group insisted that there was no evidence of intelligence, and therefore no reason for an exaggerated reaction to the situation. I am not sure that any attempt of communication and apology would have been successful in mitigating the situation. However, there can be no doubt that the death of the unfortunate being, either intentionally or unintentionally, may serve to spark a conflict between our two peoples, if they are a people. Within a few days we were made aware of the impending arrival of heavy military units along with special subsurface vehicles to explore the depths of the waters under the ice sheet. We had made contact with an unknown alien species humanoid in form and possibly intelligent sitting on a resource that was worth going to war over by the corporations funding this expedition. Okay, so we get more people, and the base expands. Maybe that means more people for security duty. With little to more time off for the staff already in place, no one had touched the body yet. It lay in a freezer, awaiting dissection and inspection, with only cursory inspections to make sure it was untampered with or moved until the proper facilities were constructed to house and isolate any biological threats that might emerge from opening the body. I had no argument or problem with that decision. What I did have a problem with was its disappearance without warning, or an alarm being raised by something being kept under manual and electronic observation that was supposed to be dead. Dead is dead, and in my book, the dead are not supposed to get up and disappear. Yet this body, well, it did. Images of the 1951 movie, The Thing, immediately started playing in my head, just as the suspicion that corporate or a rival corporation's intelligence operative had covertly spirited the body away. However, the idea that this was an alien biology that we know nothing about also occupied my mind. This was a serious security concern for anyone charged with the internal security of the base, much less someone who lived there that was concerned for their safety. We immediately shifted into high gear. Anyone off duty was recalled, armed and split into fire teams as the base went into lockdown, and non-security personnel were ordered to stand fast and shelter in a place to avoid being knocked down and secured by security forces attempting to find the missing body with whoever was involved in its disappearance. Every inch of the base was covered, and the rooms were secured after being searched with heavy portable locking devices so that no one could enter or leave the room once it had been examined. As the rooms were examined and personnel were vetted and herded into the cafeteria until we could secure from security alert, we grew frustrated at finding nothing. No footprints, no damaged airlocks, and no doors, no missing personnel, vehicles, or unauthorized passage through the Einstein-Rosen Bridge. Something is not right, and something of this nature does not sit well in my ability to sleep well at night, or feel secure during the day going about what I wanted to be a normal routine with no complications. Because of this incident, all off-road transportation was cancelled, and security on both sides of the bridge was increased both electronically and for an increase in manpower. All associated gateways in the network were also placed in a situation of increased security, as well to prevent unauthorized movement or a footfall situation from taking place. It has been 5 months now, and nothing has happened. We are still in an attitude of high alert and with increased presence of security personnel at the base. The foundation of the base has come under and passed inspection for any unauthorized or undiscovered openings of the ice below, both on the rock shelf and those parts of the base that extend beyond it. Exploratory teams have begun to explore the surface again. As I said, water is money and money is power. And so we chase shadows now, wondering what is real and what is, to quote Charles Dickens's Scrooge, a bit of undigested beef from last night's dinner. I will rotate out soon and return to Earth. It is just a matter of time, but I am not sure whether I will experience any relief or not knowing that something could conceivably move without detection through the bridge and find purchase on Earth or any of the inhabited planetary bodies that we inhabit at this time. I will more than likely be back after a while. The money and adventure are too good to pass up. But right now, I could use a rest. The stress of the situation is a bit much to deal with over an extended period of time. Wow. Certainly another one. Wow. Intriguing and quite spine-chilling. Starts with an incredible series there. And that's from my good friend, Robert Maddox, brand new to the DMTForestOfFEAR channel. Huge thank you to you, Robert, for penning this incredible start of this story. Really looking forward to any updates that you have for us, and the possibilities of where you'll take this story next. Well, guys and girls, you know the drill. Please do let us know what you thought down below in the comments box. Please do like and share. It really does help both the channel and our community further. And why not hashtag TeamFEAR and DMT's Cryptid crew. Now, if you think you can pen a story packing that much punch and with that level of mystery, then please do get in touch with me at the contact email, which is as on screen. contactthedeadone@gmail.com. I really look forward to hearing from you. I hope you're all well and happy, guys, fighting fit and life is treating you well this year, and you're out and about and enjoying the beautiful summer sunshine with friends and family. But above all, remember, be safe.